Hey there, it's Monica and warm welcome to my channel. I am super excited because this is my very first YouTube video. In this video, we are gonna learn how to create these beautiful and vibrant flowers in Illustrator. I have also provided link in the description box where you can download the sketch and textures. So go ahead, grab them and let's dive right in. First, I am gonna create a new document of 8 by 10 inches with RGB color mode and at 300 ppi. Let's place the sketch in our document. To do that, go to File, Place or use shortcut Command-Shift-P. Align it to artboard, lower opacity to 20% and change blending mode to multiply if it's JPG. I am not changing it because I export sketches in PNG format. Then lock this sketch layer. I am also placing a rough colored version which I created in Procreate, but you can directly create color palettes in Illustrator. Let's add these colors to swatches. Create a rectangle with fill. Click and hold Option to duplicate. Then use Command D to create multiple copies. Now change color of each box using eyedropper tool. Then open swatch panel and remove all unnecessary colors. To do that, go to swatch menu, select all unused and hit delete. Now select all your colors, click on new color group and make sure you have selected convert process to global so that any adjustment made to these swatches will apply to entire document. Now create a new layer for artwork and place it below. If your thumbnail view is small, you can go to layer menu, panel option and select large. Alright, after setting up the document, we are now ready to trace this artwork. So let's get tracing. Select pen tool and create this vase. First I will create only straight lines and then curves with anchor point tool. Or with pen tool selected, hold option and create your curves. Now let's add gradient to our vase. You can double click on a point to change colors and press G to edit direction of it. You can also move this tiny point up and down to set the area of color points. Let's add a gradient to this shape as well. And you can also save this gradient to your swatches to use it later. For this, let's use ellipse tool and adjust positions. We have created our vase, now let's add details to it. With line tool, create a line and make few copies till the middle using method I showed you before. Then select these lines, reflect them and make a group. Next, change color and set blending mode to multiply or any other blending mode you like. Now let's clip these lines, select shape and click on draw inside mode. Then cut lines and paste it inside shape. This smiley is pretty simple. To create a smile, duplicate the circle, switch to stroke and press C to cut it in middle and delete that extra part. Okay, so our vase is completed. Let's create other elements. For this surface, create a rectangle, select scale tool and move these two anchor points inside. After that, apply gradient same as we did for vase. Now I am gonna create shadow of this vase. I am creating this shadow with gradient, but you can choose solid color too. I will select same gradient colors and this time I will choose radial gradient. Swap colors as this lime green will be in the middle and change opacity of points to maybe 20 and 80. Then change blending mode to multiply and adjust gradient like this. These stems I am gonna create it with gradient stroke, and I have set stroke width to 7 points. Now select all strokes, go to Object and Expand Appearance. Then change direction of gradients if necessary. At the bottom of stem, I am going to scale these points outside to make it look thicker. Then with Shape Builder tool selected, hold Option and drag to remove any extra parts. Stems are done, let's create leaves. In leaves, I am gonna apply freeform gradient. With freeform gradient, you can add multiple points to make it look prettier. Next, create these veins. And lower the opacity. It's just a personal preference, you can leave it as it is. In Sketch, I have drawn some leaves same and some different, so for same ones I will duplicate and reposition them. And for others, I will create manually. Then group all leaves and drag them below stems and ellipses. Alright, let's dive into making some flowers now. And we will stick to same cool techniques I said earlier, like using radial and freeform gradients. For stamen, just draw a straight line by holding down Shift and add ellipses to top and bottom. Group all of that, select rotate tool and make sure anchor point is in middle, and I'm gonna rotate it, let's say at 35° angle. Then press Command D to make multiple copies. Now let's complete all these petals. Here's a tip, you don't need to create every shape, just copy the ones that are same. For this shape, create a rectangle. Go to Object and apply Gradient Mesh. Add 6 rows and 5 columns, you can change it as you like. Whoops! Forgot to mention group and lock all these elements for easy anchor point editing. Now select all outer points with direct selection tool and pick this lighter color for them. Then select all inner points, change their color to black and set opacity to 0. In the middle, I have added this cyan and pink color with these opacities. You can also adjust handles and move these points around. Alright, now grab brush tool or use ellipse tool, whichever you prefer, to create this circle. Now make copy of this circle, move it behind, go to Effect, Blur and apply Gaussian blur. If you decide to tweak the blur later, go to Appearance panel and make any changes you want. Now let's make this ellipse using mesh tool just like we did for rectangle. Next, I am gonna add some more cool details, something like small dotted patterns. So create a rectangle of same size, open Swatch library and go to Patterns, Basic Graphic Dots. Actually, it's in Basic Graphic Textures. And it's a bit small, so scale it up to maybe 150%. Yeah, looks good. Now I want to apply gradient mesh colors to this pattern. So cut the pattern, duplicate mesh, go to transparency panel and make mask. Invert it and paste pattern inside mask. To add more dots, duplicate pattern and scale it to add variation. Let's also apply pattern to this circle and don't forget to group everything to work efficiently. Our artwork is almost done. Now let's add some final touches. Create star with star tool. You can adjust number of sides by using up and down arrow keys. Then I'm gonna select inner points and increase radius all the way up. Now let's add line. Use width tool to adjust thickness. Then make copies and rotate them. When you scale down this stroke, you see it's getting thinner. To fix this, simply uncheck Scale Strokes and Effects. Next, make copy and add Gaussian blur. Now group everything, make copies and reposition them. Also, let's not forget to create these dots. Let's give our illustration some cool textures. Make a copy of petal, go to Effect, Textures and select Grain. Grain type will be stippled. Adjust intensity and contrast until it looks just the way you want. Then change blending mode to soft light. Sometimes it might get pixelated, but no worries. You can always hit Command Z and Command Shift Z to undo and redo. If you have any other tricks to fix that, feel free to share. You can also accentuate grain effect by lowering effects resolution through Effect, Document, Raster Effect settings. Oh, and can you notice how this grain spreads a bit beyond object, but you can leave it as it is if you like. So duplicate petal, move it above texture, select both layers and make clipping mask. Cool, next repeat this process for other petals but add grain using Command Shift E. It's a shortcut to apply same effect over and over. Let's add some grain to this pot as well using a different method. Copy and duplicate the shape, make transparency mask and paste shape inside mask. Then apply black and white gradient to it, add grain and change blending mode for cool effect. Let's complete adding grain to these stems. It's looking good, but we can do something more. I want to add gradient in the background, so duplicate this rectangle. Also lock other layers and apply gradient mesh. And we have covered gradient mesh before, so let's have some fun editing it. The final step is to enhance the artwork by adding texture on top of everything. As mentioned before, I have added link in the description box to download all files. I know you are wondering why I am adding PNG of grain instead of creating it directly in Illustrator. Because adding grain to entire artboard in Illustrator makes files so heavier. I am also adding this white dotted texture which I created in Illustrator. Lastly, unlock all elements, duplicate the BG layer, move it above everything and create clipping mask to ensure no objects are extending beyond the edges of artboard. And it's done! Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. Until next time, bye!